good evening and welcome to our very special program tonight of Thai PBS World Tonight. I am Natha Gomonwadin.
Good evening, and I'm Ted Chai Yong. Corruption has always been a big problem for Thailand, and government after government have failed miserably to deal with this issue. But of course, there are still a lot of people out there who are not giving up and are giving everything they have to fight the scourge. And one of them, Gunatha.
Yes, and he is our special guest tonight, Kun Vichien Phongsathorn, Chairman of AntiCorruption Organization of Thailand. He will tell us how he keeps fighting with the corruption in Thailand. 15th of September, it's Anti-Corruption Day. What will be the activities coming up this year in particular?
Kun Vichien, you'll be marking the Anti-Corruption Day again this year, right? As Gunatha mentioned, on the 15th of September. Would we be hearing more good news or bad news?
Well, certainly we'll emphasize more of the good news, but we also have to accept the fact that bad news are still around in a big way. Well, first of all, I have to thank Thai PBS on behalf of the Anti-Corruption Organization of Thailand and many of our coalition partners who give us the opportunity today to be here to speak about the corruption situation. I shouldn't be smiling.
You're welcome.
But the 15th, the event on the 15th. Normally we hold the annual event on the 6th of September, but the 6th is part of the long weekend coming up, so we decided to move it 1 week on to the 15th. The event will be different from previous years where we normally have big gatherings of people who are sick of the corruption situation, who are our partners, who are active citizens joining. Last year we had more than 5,000 people joining, but because of the COVID situation this year, the event will be largely online, so limited the people to join the event to 100 or 200 only. So everyone can join through our Facebook Anti-Corruption Organization Facebook Live with us. The program will start from 1:30 in the afternoon on the 15th and should last about 2 hours. But we'll have, I think the theme for today emphasizes the use of digital tools, the use of big data to entice people, to allow people to play a part in a much easier fashion, access to information.
So you're bringing the anti-corruption efforts online now?
Online, yes, which will hopefully be very much aligned with the interests of the younger generations also.
So does it mean that the launch of a platform to fight against corruption?
Yes, very important. You know that we've been, the organization has been around for almost 10 years already. Since the beginning, it was formed as a coalition of partners because we realized from the beginning that to tackle this very big issues that we have here in Thailand, we need to engage many partners from all sectors, and also active citizens. The bulk of our population need to play a part. And a good example is the COVID situation here in Thailand, where everyone plays a part. They're concerned about their own health, they're concerned about their families. So social distancing becomes a norm. Wearing masks becomes a norm. Washing your hands becomes a norm. We very much would like to see that people playing active role in anti-corruption becomes also a norm. We need the numbers to fight the big numbers of corruption in case hopefully not the numbers of people, of corrupted people, but the scale of corruption that we have here in Thailand is so large that everyone needs to play a part.
So bringing this the anti-corruption, fighting against corruption online means that you would want to see more people in the society to get involved, right? Especially young people, because we're talking about online things, and mainly young people would have access to it.
Yeah, definitely. I need to reemphasize again the importance of getting everyone, all sectors involved, everyone involved. And the good news is that there are organizations of various sectors that have become actively involved. The private sector, the business sector have become involved almost since the beginning on their what we call CAC program, corruption and anti-corruption coalition on the part of the business sector, because of course they are actively involved in the corruption cases also, and the banking sector, the capital market people are involved in raising funds to support our activities. Volunteers in the watchdog programs, we have them all around the country. We are supporting or facilitating or managing a project called Integrity Pact. Integrity Pact is an integral part of the Public Procurement Act now, where we have volunteers, professionals, engineers, architects, accountants, lawyers, become observers in big government procurement projects. Currently, we are working with, I think, over almost 200 projects, 2.2 trillion baht worth of projects. And these observers are involved in observing and whistleblowing efforts in all these procurement projects. So far, approximately 400 billion proceeds or procurement disbursement has been done, and we have been able to save about 30%, over 100 billion baht worth of projects. So this is quite significant.
But how did you arrive at the figures, the amount of money that you saved?
This is reported by the controller office. They control, of course, the budget. Budget is, of course, approved by cabinet and by parliament, and with designated budgets for each project. The saving is calculated based on actual disbursement against budget. So historically, about almost 100% of the budget is spent. Some years we may have saved about 2% of the budget. But since the program started 4 years back, we have been able to save 30%. So that's very significant. This is good news. And it's part of the law now. So this is one good example. Various other initiatives. But the key is, and coming back to your question, the key is that we need to have initiatives and platforms that allow people to play a part. These professionals play their parts. The bankers are now playing their parts. General public can become watchdogs in our watchdog program. The capital market is now raising funds to support these programs. And we want more and more. Students are becoming more involved in the education programs for better governance and better transparency. So I can cite so many examples of this, but the truth is that it's not enough. We probably will need to do this 100 times more, right? That is why the digital platform, the digital tools is becoming very important. It will allow people to access information, understanding of where money comes from. The projects that we will launch on the 15th will involve the 400 billion baht budget for this emergency fund to salvage this COVID situation.
So the point is you would like to have people sharing information of corruption happening and try to create more transparency.
Yes. First of all, for this particular 400, the COVID, we call COVID AI platform. It will disclose with the help of the ASDC, who's managing this budget. Information will be disclosed publicly in a transparent manner. There are various organizations involving especially younger people who are very keen on the use of these electronic tools, will make access to this information simple and easy to understand, not in a very formal manner as government budget disclosure. So, and this will become only important when there are users who come and take a look, what project is near to my house. I can become a watchdog on the project. I can become a whistleblower if I observe any wrongdoings in these projects. And we will make sure that all this information that comes back to us will be redirected to the relevant authority to tackle or to prevent corruption acts or even to punish the wrongdoers.
What would be your advice to, say, a young student who is keen in joining this program to provide data to your organization? So sitting in front of the computer. So what would be your advice to him or her?
Okay. This COVID AI is actually an offspring of what we call Act AI, which is also a even larger platform on various public spendings. And the 400 billion baht specifically to the COVID program also will involve many projects. These government expenditures happens everywhere. For the COVID program, now we know many of the agricultural projects will happen in various places. But other government budgets goes to road buildings, canals and wells and many other things, which happen everywhere in Thailand. So everyone can play a part. If a road is being built near to your house, you can play a part. You can look at the information, whether the road is being constructed properly, whether the timeline is being observed, whether there is any improper quality observance of the projects. So you become an informer and whistleblower of all these.
So when we talk about corruption, it doesn't only concern spendings, billions, hundreds of billions of baht, right? We can touch on projects that may involve only 100,000 baht. I think
definitely, anything that happens around you in whether you're in the city or you are in the province. But corruption doesn't only happen with government budgets, government spendings, because it happens everywhere. We need to change our attitude towards corruption from the small things to the bigger things. Sending your kids to school, you cannot make compromise that because I want to get my grandchild into this school, so I will make some compromise. I will pay some money to make sure that I get a place for my grandchild in the school. We need to stop making those compromises. In the city, if you go to somewhere where parking space is limited, we need to stop paying bribes to security guards to get a good parking space. These are the smaller things that happen in our life on a daily basis. People will, once you make those compromises, you will make more and more compromises.
It's the attitude that's very important.
Yes, very important.
But that's very normal practice in Thailand, and people just perhaps feel that we can do so because no rule of law or no law enforcement to really get us into jail or to fine us. So what should be the practice to try to interfere these small things that people are so used to it?
I think we've been around long enough, Thepchai and myself, you a little, not as long, to learn that we cannot wait for someone a leader, politicians, government officials, business leaders to make the changes for us. We've been around long enough that we cannot rely on a single person, a single organization to do the job. It is our responsibilities, right? The magnitude of corruption and the effect of corruption is so big here in Thailand, as you know. It is the root cause of our inequality, poverty problem, our misappropriation of natural resources, environmental problem, healthcare, childcare, education. So just citing the big examples, we cannot allow this to go on. I think we need to decide that this is enough, and we have to take matters into our own hands to affect the change. In order to do so, there must be some organizing efforts that will allow people to play a part. It must be a collective effort. Partnership is important. Collective effort, collaboration is very important. So we have the mass, we have sufficient power to overcome this big problem that we're facing. If we don't do so, we can imagine, I think most people can imagine
That's right.
what will happen 10 years from now, 20 years from now in all these areas that I cited.
Yeah.
But Vichien, you and your colleagues have been involved in these anti-corruption efforts for over a decade now. But after all you have seen and done, are you getting more optimistic? Or are you less optimistic?
I am.
More
I am
optimistic.
Many of my colleagues and myself are doing this to win, not just that it's a few good efforts that we're making. So we're not just doing fighting corruption just for that. We are doing this and finding ways to defeat corruption. And I feel that we have the right formula now. In the current landscape, there's more and more new initiatives, and especially initiatives from the younger generations. And many of the initiatives invite active citizens to play their part. I think over the next not many years, we will see exponential growth of these various platforms and initiatives, and exponential growth of active citizens playing their role to defeat corruption. And eventually, in hopefully not too long a future, we will start to win over corruption.
So we all shouldn't be disheartened with the corruption.
We cannot. We need to be persistent. We need to have determination to continue on. My generation cannot leave these problems for the next generation anymore.
That's about activity which will be happening on the 15th of September, Anti-Corruption Day. And it's the point that Kun Vichien trying to encourage every stakeholder in Thai society to really take part in anti-corruption practice, like changing our mindset.
And that was Kun Vichien Phongsathorn of the Anti-Corruption Organization of Thailand, the one who has not given up in fighting against this scourge. And don't forget that on the 15th of September, the Anti-Corruption Organization of Thailand, or ACT, is having its annual Anti-Corruption Day, during which they will launch a new campaign against this scourge.
And that's all from Thai PBS World tonight. We have to say goodbye for now, and we'll meet you again tomorrow. Right now, Kun Thep Chai Yong and me, bye for now.
Good night.